Hey everybody, welcome back to Dique Power couple.
It is so great to have you here. It is so great to have a talk with you.
Yes.
And we want to talk today about struggles that we've had by working remote. Just as a background, I'm going to start off saying I work remote sometimes.
He is a hybrid worker.
Yes, but you work remote all the time.
I am a full-time remote worker.
Thank you for the translation.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So, I don't know if you guys go through this, but we have a really small space. We have a one-bedroom apartment. If we were to give you a tour of our whole apartment, we could do it sitting from here in the living room and just tell you that's our bedroom, that's the entrance, that's the bathroom, and that's the kitchen. End of tour. Right? So you can imagine that makes it a little bit difficult to work remote when we're both here.
Oh yes.
Because I can hear her, she can hear me. So we just want to share with you our experiences and how we have been able to kind of find a happy medium whenever we're both home.
Alright, so let's remember that last year, 2021, literally the first week of January,
Yep.
I started working remote.
Okay.
Prior to that, I did work at a transportation distribution center type of thing, warehouse. And so I did have to go into work. And so when working at that center, at that warehouse, every morning I had to be there by 8 a.m. So it was wake up at 6, get ready, leave the house by the latest 7:15, drive 45 minutes. Working from home has been completely different. So starting 2021, it was my equipment was mailed to me. Literally arrived to me the day before my start date.
Yes, I remember this.
So the IT department at the corporate company that I work for now are like that I really appreciate, because it wasn't like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? They emailed me my stuff. I opened it up. You helped me set it up. I was forced to buy a desk because I had never had a desk, and like you said, our apartment is super small.
Just figuring that out, like where we're gonna put the desk, what kind of desk can we get, the size of the desk, just that alone, one to tables, going here, going there, was a headache.
Yes, so we got a desk, we set it up, and then training happened, which was super weird because I had never been trained through a screen. And so, working from home for a year, it was, you never have to leave the house. You literally roll out of bed, log on, and you're set. You're ready. There's no having to drive anywhere. I don't have to get formally dressed. Like, I don't have to get all professional because we only do voice calls.
That's an advantage.
The only time I've had to get on video was for my virtual interview.
Yeah.
After that, I had nothing else. I had no other call that needed for them to see me visually. And yeah, I talked to my coworkers over calls, and the only person I see is you. Yes. So in 2020, when the pandemic hit, the majority of people were instructed to stay home, right? Only essential workers were supposed to go to their physical workplace. Because I worked in transportation, I was considered an essential worker. So my schedule never changed. So what I did love about the roads is that my 45-minute drive became a 25-minute drive.
Oh, that was...
For 22 miles that I had to drive, it became like a 25, 30-minute drive.
That was beautiful.
That was an amazing time.
No traffic whatsoever, ever. Okay,
yeah, so that was great. And so for 2020, because even you and I, we both were essential workers.
Yes.
So...
Thankfully.
We lived our regular schedules. The only thing that changed during that time was the people we would visit. We would only visit your parents, and I would only visit my family.
Yes.
transitioning over in 2021 to full-time remote work from home, some of the things that I did not like was I didn't know how my coworkers looked. Right? So I could only hear their voices, so I could assume, okay, maybe they're in their 30s or 40s, or maybe they're my age. There was no, face-to-face interaction. There still hasn't been. The only time I was able to meet some of my coworkers was at a barbecue that my managers set up this past summer. And even then, not everybody showed up. Another thing I don't like is that it's literally my house has become my office. Yeah. And because it's so small, the living room is a really difficult place for me to spend a lot of my time. Because to me, when I'm in the living room, it reminds me of work. So as soon as I finish work, I either want to rush out of the house, the same way I used to want to rush out of the building of work. I want to rush out of the house and go do something. Or I go to the room because I can't stand being in the living room because I feel like the computer is still calling me even after I shut it off.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. On my side, I can tell you, once you transition to full-time working from home, there were a few things on my side that were challenging. For example, making myself breakfast. At the beginning, now I'm a little bit more free because I hear some of your calls and people have kids in their background
with the televisions on, full blast.
In the background. So I was like, so if they have noise in the background, a little plate, dishes, you put in whatever sound in the kitchen, it is fine, right? So I saw for that because I literally felt like I was on a secret mission. I was a Mission Impossible, and I was trying to take out the impossible play, and that was challenging. And like we said, our apartment is really small. A second thing that was pretty challenging was going to the bathroom. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough.
I agree.
It was tough. And for some people, this might be TMI, but you cannot fart freely in your own house. At first, I remember I wouldn't even flush the toilet like. I will go like if that's gonna make it any better, because in the end, it's gonna make the same sound. But I will go to help minimize the noise, so your coworkers didn't have to know that somebody was using the bathroom.
Yeah.
What else? Sometimes I've come out of the room, right, thinking that you're not on a call, but you are on a call and you're not muted. And I come up and say something. Hey, but how, babe? What about this? What about that? Thankfully, it has not been anything nutty.
Thank the Lord.
That will make it tough.
And thank goodness it never happened when I was speaking to one of my managers.
Yes.
I love my managers, and if they ever watch this, y'all are amazing. Best managers I've ever had. But no, because it's tough when I'm talking and you're like da, 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 and I'm like, yes, Tony, you can do this, and then I have to go, excuse me, my husband asked me a question.
Yeah. So I apologize. I think I'm doing better.
You are doing much better,
but it is tough. The other thing is, when we're both working from home, I don't get as many calls, and I'm not on Teams as much as you are. My job is less. It doesn't take that much of communication with my teammates to coordinate throughout the day, and you are always on calls. Sometimes you are in an hour call. Sometimes it's just a 10-minute call, but you're always receiving calls.
Or sometimes it's an 8-hour training day.
Yeah. So
those are the tough ones.
So, but then, which is funny, is that sometimes our meetings will overlap, and in a small apartment, that is tough, because even if I am in the living room with the door in our bedroom with the door closed, you could hear me and your teammates could hear me in the background, which is insane, and vice versa. Also, when we had Tomasito home, our little bird.
I have a little cockatiel. He's currently at my father's home.
Yeah.
Oh, when that bird would start chirping, oh my goodness, I could not think. I would have to cover his cage every single time.
Yeah. So That was tough. But what are things that you think? What are ways in which you think we have to improve our hate-love relationship with both working at home and you just adapting to working from home all the time?
Right. I think one of the first things that we've learned in this process is that we've understood that home is still home, but we're just working from home.
Yeah.
And also, although we have to maintain, of course, a professional work environment online, like you said, these people on the other side also have regular lives. And many of them have way more disturbances. And by disturbances, I mean children or dogs or like pets that will make noise. So it's not like they don't understand. And on top of that, low key, I just learned to not care anymore because it's not my fault this pandemic's happening. And I love working from home. And also, since you're working hybrid, it's not all the time that you're stuck here listening to me on phone calls. It's not all the time that you have to readjust yourself because, again, like you said, you're not always on calls. So if you wanted to, you could work from the bedroom. If you wanted to, you could work at our dining table. And sometimes on your remote days, you have decided to work remote. Like, okay, you're not working at the office, but you're also not working at home. You go work at a cafe or at your father's home. You get to change your scenery.
If you are liking this video, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please let us know what are the struggles you've had working from home. And if you are in a relationship and you are in a small space like us, please let us know as well. We would love to hear from you. So please let us know about that. So going back to you, if you were to give 2 tips to people, what are 2 tips that you would give them in regards to keeping yourself sane while working from home?
Okay. The first one, which I think is the most important, is you are not a slave to your company. Working from home, I think there is research to back this up, that people are way more productive at home than they were in the work space, like in the office. And I've had to catch myself, and I've had to call it to the attention of my leadership that, okay, for example, I'm salary, but just because I'm salary doesn't mean I have to work 15-20 hours a day. That was not in my contract. There are places, obviously, like if you're military or you work at the hospital or whatever, like you're supposed to work those hours. You're expected to, but I am not expected to. They told me when I had my interview, you are expected to work 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12, depending if it's a holiday or whatever. And I understood that. So my main point is, know your boundaries. It's your house. It's your own time. You're still getting paid the same thing. Yeah. And like they always remind people, at the end of the day, if you get sick, if you die, they're gonna, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, okay, they left. A month later, they replaced you. It's a business. It's not about family. It's not. So pay attention to your family. Log off when you have to. And if it's after your required amount of time and there's still more work to be done, reach out to a supervisor or one of your managers and say, hey, I need to log off. Somebody needs to cover this. Because guess what? That's what supervisors and managers are for. They're supposed to finish what you can't within your allotted time. The second thing is don't lose sight on the things you like to do outside of work. So for me, for example, right, when I used to work at the warehouse, it was, okay, as soon as I leave work, I can go home and I watch TV. I'll go home and I'll cook something. It was like, home was always my relaxation place. And sometimes when you work from home is, depending on the size too, because you could have a mansion and you could work in a little room that you never see, and then that's it. It feels like you walk to work. But if you live like me, sometimes home isn't necessarily the place you want to unwind right after work. So find a hobby, find things that you like to do and that you can do. For instance, I like to work out. So we make sure we go to the gym at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And on top of that, I try to say, okay, I plan out even going to the grocery store, making sure there's groceries in the fridge, leaving the house for that 15, 20, sometimes half an hour to just do groceries helps, change scenery. Disconnect, yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, that'd be my second thing. Find things that you like to do, take care of yourself, and remember that work is not always the number one thing. It's priority between those hours that they're paying you for, but outside of those times, you no longer work for them. Shut off the laptop, turn it off, disconnect, and go live your life.
Right. Thank you so much. That's my wife, people. That's my wife. We are a Dique Power couple, and this is a place where we grow together. We tell our stories. Tell us your story. What are your struggles about working from home? What are tips that you would give other people? We want to know what tips you would give to other people. What tips would you give us?
Give me tips. I don't know everything.
What tips would you give Shirley?
Yeah.
When it comes to working from home. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button so we can help the algorithm a little bit. Sometimes the algorithm needs a little help. So that thumbs up really, really, really helps. Thank you once again, and see you next time.
Bye.